Number one, since we're talking really easy here, go into your home screen and click down here in the bottom left on this filter. That's going to bring up your preferences, and I want you to turn off anything that you don't want to do. So like I have turned off here Uber Pet and UberX and Share. That's just a ride share, the mobility vertical. And another thing right down here, if you don't want to do shop and deliver like myself, so imagine going into a grocery store, a convenience store, and I got to shop for 2, 3, 7 items, whatever it is. I shop, I check out, I communicate with the customer if there's any substitutions, and then I deliver. Sometimes I find that can take a lot of time, not always, and I think these apps are doing a better job putting in pre-approved substitutions from the customer, but simple as that. If you don't want to do that, just turn that off right here. And you might be wondering, why would I even have Uber Pet and UberX and Share if I don't ever intend on driving passengers for rideshare? I would recommend, if you're going to sign up, go on the Uber page, sign up to be an Uber driver, and in this case, courier. I would sign up for both, and I would just turn them off. A, just to see what the demand is on Uber rideshare. You're not going to be able to see that if you just sign up as a courier. And then B, just saying maybe at some point you try rideshare. And honestly, as someone who's done it for years, I've done it part-time, I've done it full-time, I've done their competitors. It is not that bad, especially if you drive holidays and there's really good bonus pay. But, of course, for this video, let's focus on Uber Eats. Make sure you have the Plus card activated. They're going to give that to you, and that's for those shop and pay orders. So I'm paying with this Plus card. It's going to be pre-authorized. So I'm buying, what, 2 Red Bulls. It's going to be, I don't know how many dollars, $10, something like that. It's already pre-authorized. Pay with that. Now, you don't have to use a physical card. You can add it to your digital wallet. But did you know Uber says when you're doing these Uber Eats shop and deliver that you can also use your personal funds? So now I've done that on DoorDash and it's seamless, but which would you prefer? Keep that setting on, use that Plus card. Next, in that same settings tab, let's click on app settings here and let's go to navigation. Now you can use any navigation that makes sense for you. There's Uber navigation in the app. I feel like DoorDash does it best because they use Google Maps integrated into DoorDash. Uber doesn't quite do that. So I just use Google Maps launched in a separate app. You can use Apple Maps, whatever you want there. But I want you to click down here for routing. Look here how it says driving, bicycling, and yes, walking. And I've done a walking delivery before. Now, the reason this is important, I think most everyone's going to do driving unless you're in a very dense marketplace like New York City, is that this app will actually consider that when sending you order requests. So if you're biking or if you're walking, they're going to send you shorter distance runs. And imagine if you're biking, they're not going to send you on the freeway, the highway. They're not going to send you across busy bridges. Just want to let you know, don't use that when you're driving and marking, let's say, biking because you want shorter runs. The app is also going to monitor for fraud because if you're flying around at like 25 miles an hour, whatever speed that's not feasible on a bike, the app's going to say, why are you marking that you're on a bike? So don't do that. Don't want you to lose your account. Next, back to our app settings screen here. This time, let's click on communication. This is important to me, and I think it's going to be important to you. This determines the preference of how you want customers to reach you. There is call or chats recommended. That's both here. Or you can just distinguish between call me or chat. And that's the one I personally have. Because if I'm driving and they're calling me, it's not your personal number. It's routed, through a different server, whatever it is. I don't want to be driving and then have my GPS up and then get a notification for a call. I'm trying to navigate that versus getting a little icon that I have a chat message and that I can get that when it's safe and feasible to do so. I think that's easier. That's contact preferences. Number 2, that was just one tip of 5 that I have for you. Simple tips to be an Uber Eats driver. For number 2, let's talk about opportunities. So let's click on that top left 3-line menu here and go into opportunities. As it's self-described here, it's going to be earnings opportunities in this case. From here, click on promotions. And here I'm going to see just that, any driver or courier promotions here. Now look, all of mine are rides only. So sign up for $2 extra on every trip. Typically, that's going to be the indicator that it's rides only. If they talk about like per trip versus per delivery, they'll say. And you can see here also it says rides only, of course. But what I want you to do is just look at this. Again, this is another reason just to sign up for rideshare, even if you don't intend on doing it, at least for some time, because then you can see, okay, there's a $5 per ride Boost Plus trip or something that's very good. And then imagine that combined with surge pay. That's the real-time supply versus demand changing per trip or per delivery bonus. So you can get both there if you end up deciding, let's say, doing rideshare at some point. Well, let's back out of that here and let's go back to the home screen and let's stay on the home screen. So these areas that have kind of a little dark cloud around it, whatever you want to call it, they're kind of hot spots. It's areas of growing demand. If it was really, really on fire with demand, then you're going to see that surge pay that I talked about based on supply and demand imbalances or where they forecast demand. Then when it gets busy enough, that's when you'll see an extra $1, $2, hopefully more on every delivery here on these heat maps. I want you to use these growing hotspots, and then hopefully eventual surge when you go online, combined with your own marketplace expertise. Because like here in Pittsburgh, okay, I'm in Oakland. I know students like this certain area. I know there's a lot of popular restaurants around here. Or I'm in the east side of the city. I know this one road has a lot of restaurants. People go out here on the weekends or walking around, and possibly I could get orders here as well because it's a busy area. Number 3, let's look at a newer feature here in the past couple of years here, this earnings trend chart. So let's click on the lower right section here, this chart, and that's going to bring up our earnings trends. The first thing I want you to look at, because there's a lot of data here, is note how it says showing rides trends. So for me, it doesn't show like delivery trends, but still, I want you to use this data to kind of leverage, again, based on your own experience, when is the best time to go drive. So firstly, if I zoom out here, look at the different market segments, and you can see by the dollar signs where Uber anticipates the most demand here by those dollar signs, a single, double, triple dollar sign. Look at this sub-marketplace they're calling Core Pittsburgh, and then next to it, here in Pittsburgh at least, Penn Hills and Wilkinsburg. Uber breaks up this marketplace differently than DoorDash, which breaks up, again, the entire active marketplace into kind of sub-marketplaces. Now, when you drive either rideshare or delivery on Uber or Uber Eats, it doesn't matter. You can drive anywhere as long as they have service. They're servicing Uber or Uber Eats. You can drive anywhere. You can go online. That is different than DoorDash. Now, you could go online at any time with DoorDash, but A, it has to be busy enough to use their Dash Now feature, and then there's different market segments. If you switch, each different sub-marketplace has the ability to be either busy enough to go online or not. Again, that's on DoorDash. But on Uber Eats, as long as Uber services that area, you can go online, offline at any time. There's no restriction. They won't even tell you if it's busy enough. So you can go online, and that is why it's so important on Uber and Uber Eats that okay, Monday at 11 a.m., is it going to be busy enough? Is it going to be worth it versus at least getting some kind of hint on DoorDash? Let's look at the bottom here of the chart. So these are hourly trends. It's real-time trends. Now, if I click on the top right here, it says see charts. So here, I'm going to see all those sub-marketplaces on Uber on one screenshot here. But what I'm really looking at is to confirm the best days and times to drive. Again, even if this is rideshare, look, I'm clicking through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and I can confirm, look, it's getting busier Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I know most likely it's going to be the same thing for Uber Eats and delivery. Number 4, let's go back to that surge pay. Again, it's a real-time changing per delivery, in this case, bonus pay. It's going to change every couple of minutes. About, we'll say every 2-3 minutes or so. So I want to tell you if your marketplace, and actually comment down below if, well, number 1, which one of these tips help you out most, and number 2, specifically about surge pay. Do you get surge pay? It's going to look like a heat map, and how much and how often it is. But regarding surge pay, just want to tell you, if you have surge pay at all of $1 and especially $2 plus in your marketplace, drive more. Please, because as someone who's done these gig apps since 2015, all I do here is help you make money in different side hustles. Consider subscribing. Check out yourdrivermike.com for courses and resources to help you in most any side hustle. A lot of marketplaces are getting less and less surge pay, or maybe even no surge pay at all. And it's going to depend on driver profile. So especially if you're new, you may be seeing some surge pay versus my profile, anecdotal. One driver here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, When I go online with Uber Eats, I do not see surge pay. And number 5, let's talk about leveraging Uber's rewards program, Uber Pro, we'll say versus DoorDash's new Dasher Rewards program. So this is Uber's reward program, Uber Pro. Now, a lot of this is contingent on rideshare, but they're rolling out a new-ish program of Uber Eats Pro, so still pay attention to this. So I'm at the base level Uber Pro Blue because I do not do a lot of Uber Eats at all here. Now look, just to get to the next level, there's Gold, Platinum, and Diamond. Just to get to Gold, I need an 85% acceptance rate. So I need to accept 85% of prospective offers in my marketplace when I'm online. Do you think that's worth it? Now that's one thing, okay? Look down here at cancellation rate. Requires a 4% cancellation rate or lower. So I can only accept and then cancel 4% of requests. When would you even cancel though? Personal emergency, construction that's rerouting you. It's going to take way too long. It's not worth it. I'm headed into like a game day stadium area. It's insanely busy, plus the road closures. No way I'm going to get to that restaurant. Or if I get to a restaurant and they say, our system's down, we actually just got that order, or yeah, we got it, but there's like 8 people in front of you, it's going to be 30 minutes. I want to cancel. Now, compare 4% cancellation rate, or in essence, you can think of it as a 96% completion rate, the ones that I am completing. Compare that to Dasher Rewards here, where to get just their first level, it is 90%, at least in most marketplaces. Some with more regulations like New York City, it's 95%, but it's 90%. So I can cancel 10% of the time versus just 4%. And on DoorDash's Dasher Rewards, if I am only going to cancel 10% of the time here, at least I'm getting access to higher paying orders. In this case, on the silver status. Pay attention to this. This is the most important part here. On that gold rewards, I'm not getting any benefits that give me access to higher paying orders. The best thing, at least in this case for rideshare, we can compare to Uber Eats Pro when it comes to Pittsburgh here. All I'm getting is seeing the trip duration on a rideshare run. And Uber does say drivers who also deliver with Uber Eats will earn points for delivery trips. So if you are doing rideshare and delivery, you can get points, which helps you accumulate different levels here on those delivery trips. But they continue, note that rewards offering views of full trip duration aren't available on Uber Eats. So going for gold on Uber Eats, or Uber Pro, I should say, isn't really worth it. There is at least a rolling 200 deliveries as a calculation of that acceptance rate and completion rate versus rolling 100 deliveries of how DoorDash calculates their acceptance rate. So if you are doing deliveries on Uber Eats, because again, I'd recommend signing up for both rideshare and mobility just to compare, what they're doing on the mobility side there. I would not really pay attention to Uber Pro. I personally don't pay attention to Uber Pro. I think the benefits aren't there. And again, there's nothing that really is going to give you access to higher paying orders or more pay or catering runs or anything like that. So let me know down below which one of these is most helpful for you to save you time and or make you more money. And if you have any questions as a follow-up, put that down below as well.